Welcome to the Backstage Pass, where we go backstage and have a little bit of a VIP chat.
That's a good name.
That's a real fucking good name.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. I've been kind of holding on to that one for a little while. So this is the first. This is interesting because this is not the first Backstage Pass that we've recorded, although we didn't call it a Backstage Pass then. We recorded a couple of kind of talkback episodes, obviously for Whispering Ashes, and then we're going to do the same for Lethuan. But this is going to be probably the first one that you hear, and what a one to start on. A lot of big reveals.
I miss having another person in my party.
Yeah,
I miss playing D&D.
Yes, I'm sorry, Jim. I did warn you. I was like, look, I'm sorry,
I did
Jim.
get a message to be like, you're not a part of this anymore.
Yeah, like I don't know what Bren's gonna do. Look, we'll do an offshoot of Bren and Melody having an adventure.
Yeah. Cool.
You're going to say having an affair.
It wouldn't be an affair. They're both single.
I know, but just when you started with the Ed.
So yeah, what were our thoughts about episode 32? I believe it's episode 32 or episode 3 of the new arc.
It was very interesting, but just tell me when I can go on this, okay? Just
Cat girls ruin everything around me.
Yeah, cat girls ruin fucking everything.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Jim? Yeah, you didn't get to speak a lot in the actual episode, so hit me. You've got the pages here.
Fucking 20 years ago, okay?
Yeah.
Lay it out. Here's everything that was happening in Lethuan 20 years ago.
Sure, yeah.
Fucking Hoot Force in full effect. The war ended as the Hootsman came up, right?
So just to give, I'll give some clarity because this is stuff that you would know.
Yeah.
12 years ago, the War of Unity ended.
Yes.
The War of Unity ended, obviously...
12 years ago.
12 years ago.
With the rise of the Hootsman.
With the rise of the Hootsman.
That just makes my theory fucking cool.
He arrived... no, actually, this is something that...
Didn't he end the war?
He was the one who was...
Single-handedly ended the war.
So the stories go. So he was... responsible for ending the war, which ended about 12 years ago. The war itself started 20 years before that. So the war's been going for about 32 years ago. And then in around that time in the war, Moralia, all the other dragons were killed, which may or may not be an event called Dragonfall.
Dragonfall, right? Yeah.
Yeah, then it was the Hoots Force kind of came to be at not the end of the war, at like the first couple of years after the war is when like the Hoots Force were founded.
He ended the war and then he made the Hoots Force.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so here's all the happenings in and around the time of the war.
Sure.
So I'm talking this.
Am I gonna have to get my poker face on? Well, I'm gonna start like this, so I don't give anything away.
Okay, I'm just gonna lay it all out there,
Sure,
and then I'm
yeah,
gonna lay
yeah.
out my questions at the end.
Yeah, I reserve the right to refuse to answer any questions.
Okay, so we have the War of Division. Major factors we know that were in play in the War of Division.
Yeah,
We have Holy Thunder Force and the armies of the North.
yeah.
We have the Azumakian forces.
Mm-hmm.
Azumakia, we know, worships dragons, or was heavily involved with dragons.
It's actually not something that's come out in podcasts, but that's
Sorry,
something
this
that
is
we
Bren
have.
backstory.
Yes. Bren would know this from being from Azumakia. Yes.
Okay. We have the Dragon Empire. I can't remember its name.
I actually didn't give the name in the episode.
We
there.
know, it's come up in podcasts that there has been a Dragon Empire that fell.
Yes. I think Empire is maybe the wrong word for it. Kind of like a conclave of like.
Okay, a
there was
conclave.
like a cabal.
That's even better. That works better.
Yeah.
We have the Hootsman
Yes.
springing to the fore, coming out the ass of this.
Yes.
We have the Cult of Division
Yes.
in play.
Yes.
Yes, we have the Cult of Division doing Cult of Division fucking things.
Yes.
Chaos coming into the land.
Michaela is active at this point.
Yes.
Yes. Bren is born around this time.
Yes.
Sid is born around this time.
Yes.
Okay. All the dragons are killed.
Sid
A
would
lot
have
of the
been
dragons are
born
killed.
about in the tail half of the War of Unity.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Because you're
Azumakia-
18, it ended 12 years ago, so you had about in like year 14 of the war.
Azumakia goes on the march, right?
Just in general, like?
Just in general. In the war,
Yeah.
But they held back for a while.
No, they actually went south first. They were kind of one of the initial aggressors.
Yeah.
And in the War of Unity, they went south down to... I actually kind of took a lot of this from Russia. That Russia goes south a lot because they don't have access to ports. So it's their geography that does it. And Azumaki are very much a landlocked region to the east.
Okay.
But there is a large port south of them.
And where this cabal of dragons,
Yes.
is that geographically located anywhere, or is there?
I'm
Because this
not going to answer anything about the Cabal of Dragons.
okay. So this is where my theories now start kicking in. We have a cabal of dragons. Okay, we know that there was a dragon underneath town around the time that the war was kicking off, which you could extrapolate knowledge that maybe they were dragons controlling a lot of the societies, right? I mean, you said as much in the episode. So we have dragons controlling the world, secret cabal of dragons. All the dragons start getting killed. Why do you kill something?
Take its
in order
power.
to take its power. What do you need to end a war? A whole fucking mess of power, right?
So he was sucking out the.
He was sucking off the dragons?
The Hoot Forest man has been going around, going down on dragons.
Yeah. Sucking off dragons.
So
Get
the
their
Hoots
power.
man-
If there's anything that's been proven in this last episode, is I'm really into bestiality. So yeah.
Fuck me, yeah. You wouldn't because I'm a human.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Now you got a tail.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shit.
Oh.
Fuck. Let me get my thoughts straight here. Okay. Fucking
is anything but
secret
straight.
cabal of dragons. Yeah. Secret cabal of dragons, hoarding all the power and knowledge. We got the Hoots man potentially. I'm in the full potential here. And this is all absolutely wishy-washy. Going around, killing dragons, starting dragon falls, uprisings, wiping out all the shitty time for dragons, taking power, using that power to fucking end the war of division, which, let's face it, start the war of division as well, probably. Fucking maybe. Look at that poker face.
He's not good at him.
He's not going to give it some. This is between-
yeah, no, this is like I'm just really enjoying that, like seeing theory crafting about it.
I had
This
something
is-
else great.
This,
Hold
this,
on.
this is the most joy I've
No,
had
shut
in
up.
this campaign.
Shut up. He also has access to a heap of dragon bodies. Now, if he's been killing dragons, there are dragon corpses out there. We know that realms are bursting into each other, right? We can probably
yeah.
assume that was going on back then as well, because we know that...
But we've seen nothing to say that like you need corpses and stuff.
well, no,
to-
we've not seen anything like that. But,
like what's his name? Like Axel was able to, cause some.
okay, so we'll take the corpses out of it then. But he has access to dragons, let's say, right?
Yeah.
He's not answering me anything. He has access to dragons.
But I feel like when you suck
Dragon
a dragon
mutations.
off, that it dissipates into its power.
Well, he has access to dragon seed if he just didn't swallow.
Fucking Christ.
Well, no. So he has access to dragons. The questions I have, I've answered half of them here to myself, but the planes that are bursting in and out of each other.
Yeah.
We know that exposure to that energy is causing the mutations.
Yeah.
We know that a mutated dragon was responsible for the fall of Holy Thunder Force.
We kind of do. Yeah. But yeah, we do.
Well, I mean, if you've seen Khan's vision, you know that a mutated dragon was responsible for the fall of Holy Thunder Force, right? That's
But-
canon
but-
information we have.
But Raikara said that they come in all shapes and sizes anyway.
Yeah, but not wolf dragons, I don't think. That, to me...
No. If you listen back carefully, I specifically don't use the word shape.
You
I
use
said,
like color,
colours and
because I remember being like,
colours and sizes.
Emeralia was definitely a green dragon.
Actually, an emerald dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, right? So he didn't specify, because that
So
is it is a mutation, right?
Obviously, and this isn't to confirm or anything, but this is to just kind of solidify what the world is, because obviously something that your characters would know. That a lot of stuff like dragons and stuff, I've not changed from the books.
Yeah.
A lot of theirs are
Because I know
quite-
you're often in the DMG.
I very much take exactly from the monster manual. The only thing I really changed about the monsters is that they aren't here yet.
Yeah.
But in terms of how they act, what they do is very much by the book. But obviously in Worlds, the monster manual is Sid's book, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what Sid is writing. So I want that to reflect each other.
Yeah,
So
sure.
so when it comes to dragons, then there are chromatic and metallic and gem dragons that follow the same kind of chromatic ones are generally evil.
What did you write about crabs there?
They have two pincers, generally evil.
Yes.
Yeah, Crab Lante. Was he in the book?
Yes.
What was he, out of curiosity?
Crab Lante.
Cool.
I'm going to go back to my theory crafting while he looks at that. Oh, yeah, okay, a Crablante. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I genuinely, I just don't. I very rarely ever. I very rarely ever.
Is that Mr.
change-
Fisher?
No, that was.
Yeah,
a-
no, fuck off. That was Mr. Fisher.
That was like Kuatoa.
No, it was 2 pages.
Yeah, no, I know where it is. Like Hydras. Okay, I changed Hydra a little bit because
They're the Pryder and the...
yeah.
Where the fuck was that? There.
I wasn't far off with my artwork,
No,
actually.
Mr. Fisher was actually based more on a Sahagin. Sorry. I'm just fucking wrecking all of the ignored all my notes here where I have clearly putting in things of like what I think is going to be relevant. This is more what I was talking about with Mr. Fisher.
Oh, no, he's definitely the other one.
No, he's the other one.
It's a mix. It was a mix between Sahagins, lizard folk,
I'm
and
off
stuff.
this. Sorry.
It was any kind
no,
of fish people.
you're trying to distract me.
Sorry, no. Why I bring this up is that when Raikara also, there's a very, very funny. This is something I'm going to give a behind the scenes nod to. Do you know why I came up with Raikara? Because I was looking at legendary Pokemon to name.
Rayquaza. Nice.
Yeah, and that's where Raikara came from. But the point I'm making about dragons is that chromatic dragons and metallic dragons would be
Exist.
at odds. Would exist, be at odds. Not every dragon, therefore, would be part of
the cabal.
cabal. You're going to have other dragons who are going to go rogue
There
or
are
going to
dragon
be evil.
factions.
There are dragon factions, that sort of thing. Yeah, that
Can
would be a
dragons
normal
do the thing. I don't know if this is a D&D thing or just like a WoW thing, but can dragons do the
Yes.
have a human form?
Yes, they can.
Ugh, it's all even more coming together. Hootsman is a dragon, confirmed.
Interesting theory.
No, I don't know about that. But do you know what are two very similar
So he's
things?
a dragon going around sucking off other dragons.
Do you know what are two very similar things, though? Chaos and division. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
they're a chaotic force.
Yeah. And if the dragons were all like, oh, we like order. How'd you get rid of order? You divide everything so it swishes around and smashes together. So whoever wanted to fuck dragons over was on the side of chaos. Chaos is division.
Unless it's a chaos dragon.
If the Hootsman was the one going around killing the dragons, sucking them off like I thought, and he was an order, and if he's fucking, a champion of chaos, and chaos is division, does the Hootsman's origins begin in the cult of division?
You would have to try and find out about the Hootsman's origins. I will throw a spanner in your works, though.
Okay,
here.
yeah. Because my theory isn't one solid line. I'm just getting all the
no,
pieces on the board.
Of course, and I'm.
This is me and my Charlie Kelly.
Yeah,
here's my
I'm quite proud of
pinboard.
myself because this is kind of the level of theory crafting I want you at. So you're playing right into my trap. I won't do it. The Hootsman was responsible for uniting everything, which is
That's very true. That's
much
very true. Yeah.
a symbol of order.
Yeah. Okay. And
So
uniting something is the opposite of division. No, you're right. I should
is.
have seen that.
Unless you're dividing so you can unite it again under your own self.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what the Galactic Empire did.
Yeah, look what Thanos was trying to do. Fuck everything over so he could remake it in his own image. Which is what the Hootsman would have done, having the Hoots Force as the primary power. So yeah, maybe he was like, fuck this Dragon Cabal and having everything divided and in separate things. I'm a fuck everything up with chaos and then remake it in my own image.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the Cult of Division was.
Yeah.
Fucking break everything so we can remake it.
Yeah.
This is great.
I'm trying to remember what the old lady
I loved
said
it.
in Delnock. She was feeding back lines to us that she'd heard before.
Yeah.
We're stronger when we're divided. But it was oxymoronic as well, whatever she was
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
which plays into
Strength
your
and
theory
division.
there.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
The-
I'm Iron Road airing this theory so hard. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, that was a nice stream of consciousness, Jim. What did you think about Raikara and your Sphinx challenge? And just like the general, like, what were you originally expecting to find down in this tunnel?
I knew it was going to be some animal keeper of knowledge.
Sure.
So based on just riddles and things like that, I actually had a very good idea it was going to be a sphinx.
Yeah, nice.
Which is why I kept.
Was that from before or from when I started the challenge?
Just in general?
Okay.
Just, I figured I've played enough Magic the Gathering, and I
It
literally
is a very
hit-
sphinxy thing
I
to do.
put you
Yes.
all.
guarding knowledge under something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did an entire thing for you all in Ravnica once before. So
Yep, true.
Sphinxes,
Yeah.
keepers of knowledge. Like
It's,
that.
I mean, again, I'm not going off book. I'm just presenting the book in different ways. Yeah.
It's just the book through a different lens.
Basically.
Although Sid liked Ray,
Big Ray, please give her a proper title.
he actually wasn't attracted to her. It was just a funny bit in there. Don't worry, Bren. But
Bren is worried.
Sid is starting to get annoyed with town in general. Ray helped a lot with that. He was getting way more annoyed, but just the hoops
Yeah.
for everything.
Yeah.
There's no amount of trust or anything like that. It's just
Something that's that might be interesting that maybe you haven't fully considered, or maybe I haven't fully presented in the right way, is obviously I think we've made it very, very clear that town is incredibly slow.
yeah.
And there's so much hoops and so much bureaucracy, and they're so focused on doing.
Well, they can't determine anything until every hypothesis has been tried
exactly.
out.
And then if you look at the Hoots Force, not necessarily the Hoots Force, but if you look at Maynard's lab, and there was all this fucking wild arcanotech and stuff that was down there that was coming out of Valaga that like Melody recognized and stuff like that. Not a fucking hint of that in town. Like town is
They're
very
being
much
very conservative with their tech, like.
not even with the tech,
With just everything.
Well, it's just simply
but
the
everything
idea
they
that
know
They're not
is
open to change. Like.
everything they know is perfect truth.
Perfect.
And they will have great things, but they're not going to be willing to innovate, and they probably they
It's like the idea with Sid with his, I was thinking about this anyway, that Sid with his book, his original thing he was going to do. When he came back in like 5 years or 6 years, with it, and it was fully vetted and everything, it was going to be the perfect record of all the new beasts and everything that were out there. But in between that time, any of the knowledge in town of any of the beasts or anything was only going to be the old news until they had perfectly vetted every single thing that was new that was out there.
Yeah.
I also noticed she said something very interesting in the middle of it.
Which
Yes,
she said that she
said-
didn't like streaming, but then it turned out she did. I
Yeah,
knew she was
exactly.
lying. Knew
Yeah,
she was lying.
because you could see her Twitch details in
Yeah.
her URL. But no,
Someone donated and like a big thing flashed, like her eyes went.
she said in the middle of it, she was like allowing the correct knowledge out. And I was like, oh, that's very hypocritical.
Yeah.
We allow the correct knowledge out is a roundabout way of saying we censor the fuck out of the world.
Yeah, and Sid did not like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sid at this point is also quite naive in thinking that all knowledge should go to everyone.
Yeah.
There obviously is a bit of truth in what she's saying. That, you don't want everyone to know everything.
Yeah, you don't
Because
put the
there's-
fucking...
the Necro Goblicon in someone evil's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's also how much is censored and what's the right level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
100%.
at what point are they biased in what they're letting out? Like, are they withholding information that will be detrimental to them, but
But
positive
Sid also
to the
understands,
rest of the world?
they're- Town is neutral. Town is gray. And he understands. He started his conversation with her, was saying that.
Yeah.
I get that, He does understand that there has to be a neutrality in there,
Yeah.
That there's a certain bit of, you don't do an experiment just because you can,
Yeah, I think what's, because obviously I think maybe this will be like the last kind of point we discussed for this, but what I think has been really, really interesting about Town is the dual approach that me and you have had towards world building it, because obviously you've done a lot of the day-to-day world building of what it's like to live in town, and obviously you coming that from your character's perspective, whether that's intentional or not, but like, obviously that's how you're going to frame things in your head, be like, okay, well, I'm from town was like this, therefore I'm like that,
Yeah.
and I'm coming from a world building perspective, and so it's really interesting to see kind of like, it's like when you grow up and you realize, oh, the world isn't actually as simple as I thought. There's multiple layers to everything, and so I think it's really, really interesting to see kind of those layers reveal themselves to Sid and how Sid's dealing with that, I think is really, really is cool.
I was actually talking about that with my brother yesterday. That because I'm from America and I'm from a country.
Sorry.
Like I'm from like
Sorry,
out in the
you're
country.
from America?
Oh no.
I thought he was Dutch.
And like growing up, with other kids and everything, going to school with other kids, and we all believe our things, and we're all on the same page, playing on the playground and everything. And then you hit a certain age, and you're like, "Whoa, why are you a racist?"
Yeah,
stuff like that. And it's like, what happened here? And it's like, as a kid growing up, you don't see everything, until one day you do, and you're like, whoa.
yeah.
I still don't think town is by any means a bad place, and I don't really want it to go down.
No,
that route.
and
Like, it's just-
my intention has never been to portray a town as a bad place, but to be
it's intentionally gray.
it's
neutral. It's
intentionally
just a
gray, and it's a
hoard of
flawed place.
knowledge.
It's not a perfect place.
I just said it's a frog place.
It's a frog place. It's where Bellacore hops around in this hoppy pond. But like, yeah, and it's as to take the America example, people in America think America's perfect, and then you grow up, you see it from a different lens. You're like, oh, hang on, I only think it's perfect because that's why I grew up. That's the bubble I grew up in. And the same for anything. Just once that bubble bursts and you look at things from different angles, you're like, oh, everything is fucked. Everything's weird. Everything is not simple.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, that was a lot of interesting theory crafting. Nice little discussion. Thank you very much. Until the next time on the Backstage Pass, stay dangerous.
As they say in town.
Fuck you.